violin is a part of you. It's living, it's breathing. And every note you play, you feel.
The piano, you're a little bit removed, but a violin is right here, and it's right by your heart.
Violins in Jewish culture is kind of a love story. It was so close to the human voice that they played with it everywhere. For the prayers, for the holidays, for having a good time just for the weekend.
But it also can be very dark and sad. And that's a part of the Jewish religion. That tenderness and that sadness, is a big part of who we are.
Sometimes when the trains would arrive to Auschwitz, the first thing they hear, classical music. Okay, how bad can it be? There is music here.
The Nazis forced these Jewish prisoners, musicians, to play for them. And as the prisoners were marched to the gas chamber, they were also accompanied by music.
To manipulate people through music, to use it as a way to comfort people who are about to go off to their deaths, is just an extraordinary travesty.
Violins of Hope is a collection of about 70 violins that were played in the concentration camps during the Holocaust. They have been found and collected by Amnon and Avshi Weinstein, a father and son violin makers in Israel, and they have now restored them.
Each owner somehow loved playing the violin. Somehow that is what they took with them to Auschwitz or Dachau. Some survived, some didn't, but the violins survived. What an inspiring story to tell, that they go from joy to heartbreak to sadness to death to joy again.
How meaningful is this that they took it upon themselves to locate, to find, and to refurbish these instruments, so the world would not forget the Holocaust through music and through the violins that they worked on.
We'll have an opening concert at the Soraya with the Jewish Symphony and Lindsay Deutsch and Lynn Harrell as violin and cello soloists. 2 other major concerts will be held there. The following week, we will be going to the Wilshire Ebell Theater, where the Los Angeles Lawyers Philharmonic and Legal Voices will be performing. Then we will be going to Thousand Oaks at the Performing Arts Center, and the New West Symphony will be performing their own wonderful music. The Long Beach Symphony will be hosting the violins for about a week. They will be having concerts, evening performances, and theatrical events. Also, at the LA Holocaust Museum, these wonderful, restored, beautiful instruments will be displayed with their histories. In addition, we will take instruments to schools and teach the youngsters the stories of the instruments and their owners.
When people see these violins up close, and if they're able to touch these violins, it's much easier to grasp the concept of where they have come from. This piece of wood survived that evil, and we're bringing it to life now in a different context.
You hear the story of the violin, then you hear it being played, and you know that whatever this violin went through is nothing compared to what the humans, the people went through. And it just allows you to emotionally connect with both the story of the violin, the story of the owner, the story of its travels.
Violins of Hope means that the voice of so many people which were silent will be able to be heard.
And this is a rare opportunity for audiences to hear those instruments and to think at the time they're hearing the music played that these instruments played music to people that had little hope.
I feel like there's going to be the ghosts, the spirits, the neshama of those souls in that house while we play those violins.
We want our audience to feel and to share in the despair and the survival of what happened 75 years ago. But we also want them to feel a sense of hope and unity and compassion for one another.
We would like the audiences to leave the concerts thinking that they were just exposed to the piece of history that they may have not witnessed personally, but they are now a part of that history.
Every time a decade goes by and more survivors die, we are removed again from the stories of the Holocaust. These violins are not going to die. They're going to be here forever, and they're going to be able to tell their story forever.